All right. Today's guest is an award-winning fashion stylist, lifestyle blogger, podcast co-host, and on-air style expert who serves clients all over the country, from Boston to New York City to LA. She is a pro in her field, having gotten her start in 2011 after leaving a successful practice as a psychotherapist. She set out to create exclusive shopping events tailored to customers' needs. 12 years later, she is best known for her personalized wardrobe consults and dressing clients for red carpet and black tie events, media, and editorial shoots. With her astute sense of style and knack for knowing how to dress for confidence, she creates effortlessly fashionable and wearable looks that are easy to emulate for the everyday woman. She has amassed an enviable roster of designer relationships over her years of service and has been featured in some of the industry's top media outlets such as InStyle, People, Bustle, Today, Wall Street Journal, Boston Magazine, NBC 10, and was named the Best of Boston's 2023 winner for Best Personal Stylist. You can consider her your partner in style. Welcome to the podcast, Tara West.
Yay!
Wow, I want to meet her.
You sounds pretty cool.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. That's a very impressive bio. So we're both very excited to pick your brain. Myself, especially because I feel like as we're getting into the winter months, I'm very tempted to just like put on leggings and sweaters and fuzzy socks and say goodbye to having any kind of style. So I'm excited.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with fuzzy socks, okay?
There is nothing wrong with
Those
fuzzy
speak to my soul. Don't try to get rid of the fuzzy socks.
No, fuzzy socks are key, especially after a long day. All you want to do is like take off your bra and put on your fuzzy socks.
Yeah, that's mandatory. Absolutely. Well, let's jump right in. We want to start from the beginning. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that decision to leave your psychotherapist practice and kind of how you came to that decision and why you wanted to start a career in fashion and what that all looked like.
So let's just start from I was born. Sorry, my dog. Sorry. Stella.
You're fine.
Quiet. Sorry. I'm really sorry. She
It's
is
totally
very
fine.
protective of me. Stella, quiet.
I think someone's going to steal you. Our dogs are always doing that. No
Yeah.
worries.
Anyway, so I was born in LA, and so I was kind of born into fashion is what I like to say. And I couldn't go to school for fashion because it was much like going to school to be an actor. So, you know, everybody's doing it. How successful could you be? La, la, la. So I went to school to be a therapist, a marriage and family therapist, because it's a long story and a lot of people know my story and I'm very open with it, but we don't have time for it. But I was in therapy for most of my life because of my family situation.
Mhm.
So when it was time to decide what to do with my life, I was like, oh, I know how to be a therapist. I've been in therapy since I was 3. I could nail that job. So I became a therapist. And I was literally the best dressed therapist ever. And which is not so great always because, you know, you're dealing with people and their issues and you don't need to show up like Glamazon, but this was innate in me. And so there was no other way for me to be than to dress. I've always been that way. So anyways, I had my 3rd child and I said to myself, well, people were always like, I love what you're wearing, pregnant, not pregnant. Can you come to my closet? So after my 3rd child, I decided to launch my business. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know if anybody would hire me, but I thought to myself, this is what I want to do. I don't want to regret this for my whole life. And I want to have a business by the time my son goes to kindergarten. And all came true. I did it.
Manifestation.
Well, I think it's manifestation, but I also think it's a lot of work because
totally.
Yeah, I think that you have to definitely have a vision of what you want. Like, what do you want that to look like? Although I didn't totally know, but I knew I wanted to be a stylist. And so it started word of mouth. And then I have a mentor and she was like, you have to be on social media. You have to do Instagram. I said, there's no effing way. I don't know if I can swear, but there's no way I'm gonna do that because I'm a stylist. So part of being a stylist is you get to be behind the scenes and you kind of just show your work, right? It doesn't need to be you, but I listened to her, thankfully. And so from there, my business grew. Now I have 2 sides of the business. It's the social media piece and also I'm a stylist.
That's so awesome. You know, I feel like just having that kind of like setting that goal for yourself, like, okay, by the time my child is in kindergarten, like I will be doing this. And like you made the decision and then you did the work to get yourself there. And I think that's really beautiful and always good to hear kind of like what that process looks like. But I feel like especially with, you know, like social media and this like highlight reel world that we're living in, it's really easy to look at like maybe someone like us stumbles upon your Instagram now and they don't see all that work behind the scenes. They see this like very impressive bio with all of these like media call outs and like a high following and all these really awesome things that you're doing. And I feel like it's easy to look at that chapter 57 and be like, oh my God, wow, she did it and she's successful and I could never do that. But I would love to hear about like some of the rocky points to in that journey to get there, like maybe a time that you feel like you messed up or you wanted to quit or anything like that. Like I think those stories are always important.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I still feel like I want to quit sometimes. This is the entrepreneur life. In the beginning, I think that people say when you start a business, whatever it may be, mine's obviously a service. So when you go through your family and friends, those who will support you, when you go through all of them, that's when you really know if your business is going to survive, right? Because those people want to help, they want to support you. So what happens after that? And that really scared me. What am I going to do? How am I going to get those people, right? How am I going to not get the people just in my circle? And so what I did was I pushed myself every day. I told myself, you have to hand out 2 to 3 business cards. I don't even care where it is. I don't care if it's at the grocery store. I don't care if it's at the cleaners. I really don't care, but I made myself do it. For like 5 months, I would hand out 2 to 3 business cards every day. So I'm like, this ship is not going to sink after this, this thing about friends and family. So the other really difficult part for me, really difficult, where I had to really soul search and kind of do my own internal therapy, was putting myself on social media. It is so hard, especially for me, to be okay with the pictures that I took or putting myself out there. And I was my biggest critic. And actually, my husband took me aside and he's like, you know what? You got to stop, because you pick apart every picture. Either you're okay with it or you don't do it. And I have 3 kids, 2 are girls, and they don't need me to be doing that in front of them to myself, which is so true. And also, it was just bringing me down. And so I really got to a point where I was like, all right, I'm going to accept it. I'm not going to say that. Sometimes I see a picture, one that was taken me at an event the other day, and I was like, oh my God, that's so horrible. But you got to move on.
As we do.
And so I think that was like at the beginning, the hardest part for me to get past. And now, I'm not a competitive person, but social media makes you competitive. And you can either get really caught up in what everybody else is doing, and I don't have enough numbers. And I have PR people telling me all the time, you need to have your whole family on there. People want to know your whole life. Well, that's not going to happen. First of all, my husband's in cybersecurity, and my kids are too cute, and they're not part of my business or anything that has to do with this. And by the way, they don't want to be a part of it. So if that means that I have to not have 100,000 followers or whatever it may be, then I'm okay with that. And so you have to kind of look at yourself and your values, and people can be telling you what you should be doing and what will get you there. But if you really believe in yourself and you really do it the way that you want to do it, I think it'll be fine.
I love that.
I love too that you said, because Amanda and I talk about this all the time. We have these great ideas, these big extravagant ideas, and they're often led by a huge passion of ours. And we bounce back and forth, all these different business adventures that we want to go on. And Amanda's actually successfully doing one right now. But a lot of the times I personally get stuck on, you kind of rely almost on your family and friends at the very beginning. And that's such a good perspective to see, like, if you want to be successful, you have to think bigger, you know? And I think that sometimes I myself get so stuck on just my small circle and like what's going to work for me and who's going to support me. But at the end of the day, like you said, you are an entrepreneur. You have to think bigger. You have to think outside the box. And oftentimes that is like what is going to be sustainable past my small circle. And I feel like that's so brave of you to just go out and a simple thing, go and hand out business cards. It doesn't have to be this elaborate marketing plan because sometimes we stop before we even start because there's all these big things that we should be doing. So I love that story.
Yeah, I think that it's so easy for even me to be like, I want to be there. I already want to be there, or I need to do all this to get there. But sometimes it's these simple things like, when I started Instagram, a lot of my age group was actually not on Instagram, but everybody reads their email. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to create a blog for those people who don't see it. And trust me, people were like, why is Tara West sending me pictures of her in like 5 different outfits? Like nobody really understood what was going on, but I just did it anyways. And I didn't listen to the noise. I didn't, because I know there was some, I'm sure it was more supportive than negative, but there was, whatever, everybody. And so you just find ways, like these little ways that you can actually just get to people without it being a big thing or costing a lot of money. That's the other thing. When you start a business, I didn't have a lot of money to start my business. My husband did not help me. This is all organic. And so you got to like really know, where am I going to put my money in? Well, I can buy some business cards. That's not that expensive, right? I can start a blog. It's just an email. And so these are like the type of things I think we need to think about that are really easy and inexpensive to help you grow your business.
Yeah, it's like the little tiny actionable steps you can do each day to just like move the needle an inch a day.
Right.
It doesn't have to be this giant thing.
Monumental. And I would say, not every blog is for everybody, but it's for somebody. Because you might look at it and be like, oh, I'm not really into those type of dresses. But Kayla might look at it and be like, oh my God, I love that dress. I need it. So it's not for everybody, but it's for somebody.
Yes.
And that's what style's about, right?
Absolutely.
I love that so much. I want to back up just a smidge before we move on to all the fashion things. I love that you were honest and open enough to admit that like part of this business was really hard because a lot of it is taking and seeing pictures of yourself. And I think that's something that almost all women, I can go ahead and assume, like if you are blessed with never having any body image things, like tell us your secrets. But I feel like most women have dealt with some form of that in some way or another. So I'd love to hear a little bit, besides your husband kind of being like, hello, what are you doing? How you kind of pushed past that and how you continue to push past that on the days where like, yeah, you see a picture of yourself and you're like, how is that on the internet?
Well, there are some tools that you use like Facetune, which I do
what you got to do.
But everybody, and not to a great extent, but I do use it. I think that honestly, I've been doing it long enough that I kind of know. My photographer and I have worked together now for about 7 years. So we have a really good relationship, and he knows kind of like what I want and I know what I want. But I think not everything. Listen, right now I'm so swollen, my eyes, my face, from allergies from this dry weather. I mean, everything is. There's different times that you look amazing, and then there's times where you're like, whoa, I'm like a hot mess, and I'm just trying to get through it. I think you just have to really like just own it, and in whatever way you can. I mean, I'm going to be 50, and so things are starting to change, and I'm trying to own that. Like I just had to go up a jean size. Like and the thing is I work with women all the time, and I say, all right, just go up the jean size. Like we got to do it. But now I had to do it. And so, I think it's coming to an acceptance, and like, it's okay. Who would you even know that I went up a jean size? And why would I even care? Like, it's okay. It's about being comfortable, being the best version of you. And it takes a lot of work. Trust me, it's a lot of work for me too. I know we could look at Instagram and think, oh, like she looks amazing. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. It's not just a picture that I put up. I definitely like Facetune, or I do other things. So just to keep it real, like this is really how it is. I mean, and just to own it, I think, and be okay with it.
Yeah, I appreciate that honesty a lot, and I think other people do too. It's more so like I feel like there's nothing wrong with any, Facetune or filters, but if you're honest about it, then it's like not perpetuating an unrealistic standard. It's enhancing what you have. Are there any, like, especially with your background in therapy, any tips kind of like on that realm, like the work that you can do on yourself to kind of get to that point where going up a jean size doesn't feel like the end of the world?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I call it retail therapy now, what I do. There's so much psychology in what I do. People say, "Oh, are you upset that you went to school for that?" Absolutely not. First of all, like you said before, to your point, every woman, every person, man or woman, has something about themselves that maybe they don't love. Maybe it's that you have a shoe size that's a 15 and you can never find a shoe. Like, that's an issue for people. Or maybe, now that, 50 plus, you get a little bit of a gut and like you could do everything you've done before in your life, but it's just there. And so there's just things that we have to accept. But there's so much psychology in what I do in terms of trying to help people. What really you should do is accentuate the best part of you. So if you have great legs, wear shorter skirts. It doesn't matter what age, but just find that thing that makes you feel the best about you, and we will accentuate it. And there are tricks. A lot of people, I was just with a client the other day and she was wearing like huge oversized sweaters, and this girl is like, she might be 35, and she was looking, I said, you look 4 times the size you are, because sometimes when we feel like we want to hide, we wear bigger clothes, and that actually makes you look bigger than you are. If anything, you need to kind of accentuate your waist a little bit so you look like you have definition in your waist. And that's easy to do with like a blazer or a coat. And so I think it's kind of this misconception of, I want to hide in this tent like dress, it just, because that does the opposite.
Yeah, totally. I actually would love to talk about the psychology of it a little bit. Because I feel like there's so much of that connected with like how you present yourself to the world. And I feel like, not to make it all about me, but I feel like throughout my whole life, really, I never really took the time to like invest in my own like style or like take the time to do any of that, because if I'm reflecting honestly, like I didn't have much self-esteem and I didn't value myself enough to like put in that effort to want to like be seen. Like I really wanted to hide. And I feel like over the last couple years, I've been like playing around more and like having more fun with it. But I'd love to hear how, if you ever do deal with this kind of thing, with your styling clients, like how you kind of get them, one, to feel confident to wear something that's maybe more bold or something that's just more like stylish or out there than they're used to. But then also, how do you help them like find what their personal style is if they're someone that's like in their 30s or 40s or 50s, whatever, and they've never really explored that before? Like,
well, I always say, if you feel good about what you're wearing, you're probably going to have a good day, right? You guys have put on outfits before where you're like, yeah, I feel good. I look good.
Yeah.
I feel good.
You look
And
good, you
so
feel good.
that is my goal. And so when I go, first of all, when I go to people's closets and there's those, oh, when I lose 5 pounds, when I lose 10 pounds, when blah, 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 it's when get them out. Just get them out, because right there, it's self-deprecating. When you start to go in your closet in the morning and you're already at, when I lose 5 pounds, your day sucks, because now you want to lose 5 pounds. So that's psychology right there. Get rid of that stuff. Listen, I've had 3 kids and I know like what it's like to be big, small, medium, have larger breasts than I want to. It's all of these changes. And the best thing to start with is to get rid of any of that stuff. I have people who have maternity clothes from like 5 years ago. I'm like, for what? You're not going to ever want to put that on again. Let's just be real. Okay, so you spend too much money on it. Well, you're not pregnant and you're not getting pregnant, so get rid of it, because like that's just going to make you feel pregnant again, right? That's sentimental. I understand there are sentimental pieces, and I truly believe you should hold on to those. But I think, to your point, is when I work with somebody, I'm never trying to change who they are or their style, because believe it or not, everybody has their own style. I just want to elevate your style and to make you feel more polished and to make you feel good about what you're wearing. So it could be simple, like maybe you just get a really great blazer and we style it with a cooler pair of jeans than maybe you have, and just a better t-shirt or a fitted turtleneck and just throw on some layers of jewelry. It could be so simple. I want you to be comfortable. Obviously, not all fashion is comfortable, but I want you to be comfortable enough that you can walk around and feel good about yourself. And my other point too is I'm very cognizant about how much people spend on their clothing. I have worked with people that could spend whatever they want on clothing. I don't really care. If you spend $700 on a blazer and you have never spent that before, I'm going to have you have 14 outfits with that $700 blazer.
Yeah.
Because I want you to also not feel like you bought something that's just now going to sit in your closet. Like, I want you to wear your clothes. That's how people always say to me, you must have so many clothes. And granted, I have a good amount, but I wear my clothes. And I also don't put them in a category of, oh, that's for going out to dinner. Oh, that's for whatever. I mean, just wear it. Unless it's, an event dress or something that's different. But I want you to feel good. I want you to wear these things.
That's so cool. I want to hear more about that, just because I feel that I do that often. Is I look in my closet, and to my left, I have all of these like skanky tops that I'm like from college, and
Hanging on to from college.
I have a toddler and I'm 6 months pregnant. Like, girlfriend's not wearing these shirts, but I'm like, just in case we all go to Boston to the clubs, like, why am I doing this? I love that. It's like, thank you for the permission of, you can wear anything at any time. It doesn't have to be for a specific reason. I love that you say, I wear my clothes. If there's something in your closet that you're not wearing, why do we have it?
Right. And like, you're definitely in like the phase of, you have a toddler, you are pregnant, you need things that are functional. There's still cute stuff. There's much cuter stuff for pregnancy than there ever was when I was pregnant, but I would make stuff cute because it made me feel good. And so when people are coming up to me and saying, oh, where'd you get that? It's like 9 months pregnant, like that's a good sign. But
yeah.
but after you're done having kids and some of these things are just, you've worn them a lot, you just look at them all the time, you're going to feel like you don't want to put them on again. And that's okay. Just get rid of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just laughing out loud thinking about Caitlin showing up to our next podcast interview with her 6 months pregnant belly and like a crop top from college.
Yes, sequins.
Tara said for me to wear my clothes at any time.
Yeah.
What happens to me after pregnancy? A lot of things happen, but my tops, okay, they just got shorter.
Yes.
My body just changed. It's just they were short. They weren't crops before, but they were crops now.
Yeah, I'm like, these shrunk in the dryer. Like, these are definitely just like, but no, I'm a completely different size now, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, your body changes a lot, and your body changes a lot through pregnancy, but also with age. Like, all of a sudden,
throughout life
that are happening that I'm like, wow, like that was never an issue before, and now it is. But the other thing that was an issue isn't anymore. So things just change.
Yeah. I feel like it's important to, like, as hard as it can be, to try to just like go with the flow and accept some of those changes just for your own peace of mind. Like, we are not meant to be the same size that we were when we were 18. Like, that's just unrealistic. So take that pressure off. But okay, talking about some like personal styling things. That's totally fine. Some personal styling things. We're not pretending to like be in a fancy studio or anything. You're fine. But okay, thinking about some personal styling things. I feel like fashion can feel really overwhelming because there's like all these different like tactics, right? It's like, know your colors. Are you a winter? Are you a summer? Like, have your 3 words that encapsulates your style, and then only shop based on those words and vibes. And like, where do you start? So
yeah,
I guess that is the question. Like, where do you normally start with clients? Like, is it questions that you ask them, or?
Well, typically we start with a phone call, and I just want to know exactly like what is it that they want. Like, maybe for you would say, Tara, I just want to have like a more elevated casual style. So what that means is I want to be really comfortable, but I just want to look a little more chic walking around. I want to go day to night easier. So right there, I already have an idea of kind of what we're doing. But really, really love to do, because I'm a very visual person, is I want to come to your closet. And I
Mhm.
want to come to your closet because I'm not judging, but I get a great sense of, number one, who you are. I get a great sense of what you need. And I also can put together probably 7 outfits that you didn't even know existed in your closet, because it's a blank slate to me. Whereas we walk by our clothes all the time and already categorize them, kind of like what I said before. So I don't have any of that. It's like blank to me. And so I can start to put together something. So then you at least feel like, oh, I actually had this in my closet. And then I can tell or assess what you need in your closet and what I could go shopping for. And then I style some outfits. And that's typically how it goes.
I love that. It's like you're not only just being like, okay, you have to buy a bunch of new stuff. It's like, how can we work with what you have? I feel like
I've always been nervous to get a stylist too, because I have this expectation that they're going to come in and be like, and now we're going to go shopping and here's your thousands of dollars in bills, and then tack on whatever percentage of that for me. And I feel like that's overwhelming too. So that's good to hear that you just come over and you can help just put things together in a different lens.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, no matter how much you have or how little, nobody wants to buy a whole new wardrobe. Nobody. I mean, that's just
I mean, I
ludicrous.
want to.
I would love for someone else to buy me a whole new wardrobe, but
Well, in reality,
that's
I should
neither
say,
here nor
we are
there.
not going to buy a whole new wardrobe, but there are, like, you all have things and pieces that are really great. You just don't know how to put them together, and that's fine. Like, that is why I'm coming in to help you do that. And yes, you might need things refreshed or updated, and maybe you have too many jeans and your jeans are old, but you don't have to buy everything at once. But we can definitely start to work it in. And I think that if you have a stylist, and I'm not judging any stylist, it's just, you don't need to make somebody feel like they broke the bank for one time of your service. I don't believe that, because I believe that you have enough already that we can kind of just put things together. Maybe it's not exactly what you want. We need to add stuff, but you definitely, people have closets full of clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like the big thing that everyone is like, talking about on TikTok and whatever, which I actually really like the idea of it, is building a capsule wardrobe. So having some like nicer pieces that you can mix and match. So one, is this something that you would suggest? And then two, if you would suggest it, what are some of the items that you would start with?
Well, I think a capsule collection is key. Sorry, I need to
You're
turn
good.
the computer. I think it's key. I think it's really good for, young moms and young working women too, or people who travel a lot, because it just makes life a lot easier. And I think in a capsule collection, you could, like, typically having a great dress, like a great blazer. I know you guys hear me say blazer a lot, but blazer is just really
Love a
sharp
blazer.
outfit. A great pair of pants, a couple of tops. I mean, there's a woman, she started a line called Good Robe. I think it's goodrobe.com or something. I should know. But anyways, she does like a capsule collection of work attire that's affordable. She basically has taken the theory quality of clothing and made it into a capsule collection
Love
of
that.
of work clothes, work attire. So you would have maybe like 2 to 3 pairs of pants, 2 to 3 tops, a dress, and a blazer, and you can intermix them all in one capsule collection. Now you don't have to buy somebody's full capsule collection. You can create your own, but it's a much easier way to think. It's a great way to get dressed really fast, and it also makes your closet not cluttered.
I love that so much. And I feel like this was something that we also wanted to chat about, was like how doing something like that kind of pulls you out of the just revolving door of trends, which like we can get into trends and all that, but like trends and fast fashion and just buying a ton of crap that like you don't love, you're only going to wear a couple times and then it just takes up space in your closet. Yeah, Caitlin, did you want to ask her about some like sustainable like fashion brands or
Yeah, I'm becoming, the older I get and the more crazy I get at having a baby and putting things on my body, I'm noticing more like the materials that I'm putting on my body, where they're coming from, and just knowing through the grapevine that a lot of these fast fashion end up in landfill, like for example, I went to Forever 21 when I was in my teens and my early 20s and wore them once, and now they're definitely sitting in a landfill somewhere. So I guess my question would be, what are some good stores that you could recommend that are like higher quality, more affordable, a little bit more sustainable, that you kind of would gear people towards?
I love that you asked that question. Okay, so I have a lot of people when I walk in, their closets, they have so much clothing. A lot of it's TJ Maxx or that type of store. Nothing wrong with it except for you overspend. You think that you're saving money, but you're not, because you go in there thinking, "Oh my God, this is whatever, whatever, and it's only this price." But then you never wear it. And then your closet is just stacked with this stuff. So I want all of you to stop that. And I know sometimes it's really hard because when you go to like a Bloomingdale's and you see, I don't know, Theory or Veronica Beard or things that are a little bit higher in price, you panic and you're like, I would never spend that on that. Well, guess what? You already did, and you don't wear it. So if you see a great pair of jeans or a wonderful trouser pant from, just say, like Theory or these, I'm trying to think some other brands, but of course not. Oh, even Rails, like these type of a little bit more expensive brands. Cezanne, it's a Parisian brand that just opened on Newberry Street. The price point might be a little bit more than you're used to, but the quality is impeccable and it will last. Every single one of my clients, no doubt, has a pair of Theory pants from about 15 years ago. Why? Because the quality was amazing. And at that time, do you think they thought they were spending a lot? Of course. But that's not fast fashion. That's quality. So my point is, put a little bit more money into some pieces, and then you won't feel like you're wasting, your money, or that it's fast fashion, because it'll last a lifetime.
I love Theory. I also love the idea of when I spend a little bit more money, like you're saying, I know that it's in my closet, so I'm going to wear it. Whereas I go to Marshall's and I go on this binge of buying these sweaters that are just half decent. They're in the back of my closet. I have no idea where the hell they are. And they're just like pilling and gross. You wash them once, they fall apart. So I love that. I think that it's almost therapeutic more than rewarding to go to Marshall's and to buy all of those things. But I feel like sometimes we don't even stop and pause to think about the fact that it's more of like, ooh, more of a hobby than anything. So
Yeah, I think that it just becomes like, if you're concerned about wastefulness, or if don't want to just buy things that you feel are just going to sit there, when you start to spend a little bit more, and I never push people into buying more expensive. I just think that quality is better than quantity. And if you know that you love a great sweater from whatever brand and it costs a little more, but you could see yourself wearing it all winter long, then just do it.
Yeah.
And you'll take better care of it, like take more pride in those clothes as well.
And you don't need to have 15 sweaters in your closet, by the way. There's no way you will wear them all. I always say, okay, 3 pairs. We all have like probably 10 pairs of jeans, 8 to 10 in our closet. They just sit there. We wear probably 3 pairs of jeans, the same 3 pairs, maybe 2. So take a minute. You can get rid of some of these jeans. They're just going to sit there. The time you go back to them, they're not going to be in style anymore. But for some reason, we feel like we need to have these stacks of jeans. I don't know. Is that comfort? I don't know, but we don't need them.
What my problem with jeans is that the ones that are comfy are like out of style. Like I have my stretchy, like jegging-y type of like Joes that were expensive when I bought them 10 years ago, but they fit me so nice, but they're so just like out of style that I'm like, well, I wear them all the time, but like they're not cute. But I have the cute ones in my closet, they just don't fit me right, So
yes,
jeans are tough.
I wanted to ask about this too, because I feel like as a millennial, we are under attack. Like the skinny jeans, the high-rise pant, the side part. And like, not that I think we need to be letting Gen Z totally dictate our lives and take over, but we also want to look like with the times and like to update the clothes that we have, because like you were saying, you buy these things, you spend more money, you don't want to just toss them just because the trend says that they're out. So like what are some ways that you can kind of update your look and still wear some of these pieces that like you really love,
Well,
but you don't want to get rid of your skinny jeans?
yeah, so skinny jeans, I mean, they make sense, especially in the winter. And you can put a boot.
Put them in a boot.
Yes, that's like, what can you do? So one of the things I think, a trouser pant, let's just talk about a trouser pant, which is really a wide leg jean, right?
Mhm.
So if you don't want to get a wide leg jean because you're worried the wide leg jean will go out of style, get it in like a corduroy or in a like trouser pant, like a nicer pant. And
Mhm.
that way you can wear it with a sneaker and a t-shirt and a sweater instead of a jean. So that type of pant will not go out of style. It's always in style, and you can make it more comfortable, and you could dress it up or down. So it's not necessarily a jean, it's just a nicer pant.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
But
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Also, I feel like I hate the like societal limits that, we whoever put on ourselves of like dressing your age and, thinking that the minute you turn 42, you have to go put on a pantsuit from Talbot's, when that is like absolutely not the case. Unless that's your jam, then go off. But how would you suggest like dressing more maturely, but still keeping it fresh and young and exciting? And I don't know exactly what I'm asking, but you get it.
well, okay. So when I first moved to Boston, I came from LA and people were a little more buttoned up, like literally buttoned up. And I would be like, you guys could unbutton a button and breathe. And it's gotten more relaxed. But let's not forget, I mean, we are women. I like to feel sexy. I like to feel, um, elegant. I like to feel really good about myself if I'm feeling good about myself. And so don't shy away from that. There's just very tasteful ways in which you can show these things. Like I'm going to bring a blazer in again, but you could wear like um, what's it called? Like a camisole under a blazer, which is, it can make it silky. That gives a little more of a sex appeal. It gives a little bit more of a softer look. A bustier top. I love a great bustier top. Wear that under your blazer. And these are all things that you don't need to spend a lot on, especially if you already spent a lot on that blazer. Do it with a pair of jeans, and just add a heel. The whole conversation I've been having lately is how short should my dress be? Like I always say, listen, if you sit down and you see your groceries, it's too short. But otherwise, if you feel like you want to wear something short, put on some tights, put on an over knee boot. I mean, these are all ways that you can kind of wear things, but still have some, elegance and some sex appeal and feel good about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Okay, follow-up question. Where do you get your favorite blazers from?
You seem to be a blazer gal.
It's funny because I just recently have been wearing blazers a lot because they're a great in between, especially with this weather where you don't want to wear like a really heavy jacket. Honestly, obviously, I think Alexander McQueen is like the top notch of blazers. It's amazing. Veronica Beer, she knows a woman's body. Sink a Set, they do an incredible blazer. And again, you only need one. You only need one or two, and then you can wear that with literally everything. I've been doing slip dresses with blazers over them. I mean, with a boot. I mean, that's a great thing too, a slip dress. I love a slip dress. You can wear it in the summer. You can throw a sweater over it in the fall. You can add a long jacket over it in the winter. It is a great versatile piece. Put a blazer over it for work. I mean, these are like certain things that I think maybe to think about how you could wear one piece so versatile.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's reminding me of growing up reading, the different magazines and how they had issue after issue of going from daytime to nighttime. And I really thought that was going to be like a bigger plight in my life than it ever turned out to be. But I love the idea of mixing and matching a bit. Okay. So how would you suggest, now that we're, in the mindset of mixing, matching our clothes, going through our clothes, organizing our closet. So I know you're not a closet organizer, but in terms of the psychology of it all, and how would you suggest um, organizing your closet, like by materials, by colors, like any tips for
So
that?
I am not a closet organizer. That is a job. I mean, I love closet organizers. I don't know how they do it. They have
Yeah.
like some form of OCD that I'm really impressed with
Yeah.
because I have no patience for that. I can do everything else, but not that. I think the probably the best way, I mean, I've been in a lot of closets where they really color coordinate everything.
Mm,
And that seems like, to me, like that would be hard for me to keep up because I'm always on the go. I think functionality probably, like, in terms of what do you wear the most and putting the summer stuff if you can away so you have freedom to see. I think when we have too much in our closet, we can't really see what's there. And so we
mhm.
become a little stumped sometimes of like how to pair things or even just what do I wear? There's just so many options, and how to put things together. Another thing is when I work with people, we kind of make things aligned so that we take pictures, but we also keep things together so they kind of know what could be an outfit. And that's kind of how we put things away.
Mm.
And for my people who travel, it's very easy for them then to come home. And if there's a quick turnaround, they could just pull some more outfits.
I love that. Oh, now I'm gonna want to go upstairs and play around. Um, okay, so what like fall and winter trends are you seeing that you're loving that we should all be looking into and seeing what works for us? What's
Well, today I'm posting about colored tights. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but there's this big trend about wearing red tights with like a black dress with a black heel, which can be fun. I mean, it's okay to have fun with fashion with tights. Last year or the couple of years ago, it was much more about the texture, and the brand's logo, but this year it's more about the color of the tights, just whatever color. Red happens to be very popular right now. I think layering is always very popular. I love layering. I envy those who can even layer more than I can layer more of like a monochromatic type of thing. But when people get into pattern play and print play, that is so impressive. I love that. I think color is big again. Purple is really big right now. And I think adding little pops of color to your outfit can actually make you happier, whether it's in a shoe or sometimes like Manolo Blahnik has like a shoe with like hot pink with a little bedazzle. I think it's Match and Match. They have really cute heels that are not that expensive with like a little bow in different colors. So a lot of like just fun accessories. Metallics are really big right now. And the metallic trend is great. Just keep it minimal. I always say pick that one piece. Let's just say it's a metallic skirt and then make everything else a little bit more subdued. So that's the piece that you focus on. You don't need to compete with it. And I think that's pretty much like a lot of the trend that's happening right now.
I love that. Where do you kind of pull your style inspiration from? Like, are there certain people that you follow on social media? Do you like to, make the vision boards on Pinterest? Like,
I've never
what
made a
inspires you?
I wish I could make a vision board on Pinterest. I don't have the time. Um, I get inspired from seeing other people and what they're wearing. Instagram inspires me all the time when I see, what people are wearing. I think for me, a lot of it is, again, I like to wear what I have. So I try every season to maybe buy one or two things that I can incorporate into what I already own.
Mhm.
It makes my life a little bit easier. I work with a lot of brands who send me things, so that's inspirational because then I get to style the piece they send me. I just have to figure it out, which is kind of like a puzzle sometimes, which I really
Yeah,
enjoy.
that's fun.
Yeah, so I think even just seeing people on the street, sometimes I get inspired. I I love it. I take it all in.
I love it so much. That's so fun. Okay, Caitlin, do you have any more questions or are we ready to move on to our rapid fire round?
feel like we've gotten everything. Let's
Okay.
do the rapid fire.
Let's
I'm
do
excited
it.
for this.
It can be rapid fire or like medium fire, no pressure. Okay, who are your either current or all-time top 3 style icons?
I love Victoria Beckham. I think
Who
she's
doesn't? Her
amazing.
style is like,
The pants. The pants. I love all
Yep.
the styles of pants she wears. I would say she's the biggest one. From everybody else, I maybe pull some things from Gwyneth. I love Gwyneth Paltrow's style. It's very LA. But I would say Victoria Beckham's probably the top.
Okay. Pop of color or black? All black.
Pop of color.
Love that. If you could only keep 3 items in your closet right now, what would they be?
I have to say a blazer now.
Yeah, you have to.
I know more about a blazer. So funny. I love an over the knee boot, and I actually really love like a good beanie hat for the winter.
We are in New England, so we also need that functionality. One thing that everyone needs in their fall wardrobe.
A blazer.
okay, let's get more specific. What kind of material? Because when you say blazer, for some reason, my mind goes to like 2010 of like tight, like very uncomfortable. And now I know that that's the opposite of the look now. So like, what material am I looking for?
Well, I don't necessarily think it has to be a certain, because some people like tweed and some people don't. But I'm thinking just like more of a very tailored blazer that comes into the sides a little bit. Some of them are having a little bit of a shoulder pad moment, and that's okay because you can always take those out if you don't like them down the road, right? This is like something I want you to invest in. Just something that's very feminine and looks great on you.
Okay.
Love. I feel like the title of this episode needs to be something about a blazer.
It could be like blazing hot style.
There you go.
Blazing hot style. There we go. I love it. Okay, if you could only shop at one store for the rest of your life, where would it be?
Oh my God, my kids ask me this all the time. I'm going to say Saks, and I'm going to tell you why. It literally is a one-stop shop. Like, they have the shoes, they have the bags, they have the coats, and they have the outfits. And my client forgot underwear the other day, so we went and bought her some underwear. So I think even though it's a higher price point, I know, like, really, if you want to just go one place and get it all, that's where I think you could do that.
There you go. And we're not running away from the high price point because we're not going on binge shopping trips. We're getting a good blazer and then going home. What does fashion mean to you? Like, what does putting on a good outfit do for you?
It does everything for me. It just fulfills me. My grandmother, she was my best friend. She used to take me to fashion shows. I'm from LA. We would go to Saks and we would go see fashion shows. And it was just walking into the store and like smelling, that first smell of a department store with the perfume and the leather. And when I do what I do, not only do I love to help people and make them feel really good about themselves, it just fulfills me in such a way that I would never be able to explain, but so thankful that I get to do it.
Oh, that's so nice. And so nice that you can kind of like bring that memory of your grandma with you. Okay, describe your style in 3 words.
I would say elevated chic. That's 2 words.
Yeah.
I would say
elevated chic blazers.
Maybe casual, elevated chic, because I think that, pretty much I'm more casual than dressed, but people would maybe disagree with that. But for me, that's how I feel.
Yeah. Well, I feel like also having the like functionality of your everyday life, like your everyday life isn't exactly the, photo that you have on Instagram. It's that, but also being a mom and like wearing all the different hats and making that work. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was so great. We're going to give you a chance to hype yourself up, tell the people where they can find you, what maybe they should be looking for.
So you can find me on Instagram, Tara West Fashion. I also do a podcast called Shorts with Tara and Jill. And in December, I'm going to be doing a holiday segment on metallics on Extra TV. So
Woo.
Tune
That's awesome.
in.
Will you be posting about that on your Instagram and like where we can find that once it comes out and everything?
I will. Yes, I
Okay.
will.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was great.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. And if you have any style questions, please feel free to DM me. I'm always open to help and to give suggestions and to clarify what blazer you should buy.
Perfect. The people are going to be wondering.
I love it. Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank you.